Hi guys, my name is Crystal and welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to a lovely Friday. Today the sun's out where I live and it's gorgeous. Today I'm going to the doctor's to pick up a letter and then I'm trying to look for a fan or something to keep me cool because it's getting very hot in this flat, especially at night. So I want to see if I can get a fan. If I can't get a fan, I'll just keep cool how I'm trying to keep cool, and that is with either soaking a wet flannel and putting it all over my face, or just, opening all the windows at the moment. But it is starting to get quite hot at night in this flat. I'm sweating like a pig at night. So what happens is it starts off getting very hot in the early hours of the morning, and then I've got my fleece blanket on and covers, etc. So, I start to get hot, take the covers off, open all the windows, and then between 4 and 5 in the morning it starts to get quite cold again. So I did have a couple of fans, but I'm not a do-it-yourself person. I'm not good with like nuts and bolts. I've still got a bed frame that I haven't put together. So basically I don't like, when you order from Amazon or you order from somewhere and it all comes in pieces. I'm no good with do it yourself. I'm no good at maths and I'm no good at do it yourself. So I've got anything that you have to screw in, I just get a mental block and I can't do it. So I'd like a fan that was already assembled, so I don't know if I can get one. And I don't. Is it too early to get those portable fans? Because I am sweating buckets. I was last night. Yesterday evening, the Tesco delivery guy rang the buzzer. He parked outside the flats, and he was a really nice man. Short man with grey curly hair. He was really lovely. He spoke to me about All Hallows, how he'd gone to All Hallows. He spoke to me about Who, places where my dad Derek took me, his daughter, on holiday. So my father Derek took me to Stable Cottages in Who, and we had 2 caravans at All Hallows. One was for my mum and dad, one was for me. My dad intended to live 10 months of the year at All Hallows and then find somewhere to live for 2 months. But my mum wanted to stay at Victoria Road, even though it was falling apart. There was a hole in the bathroom wall, the water wasn't working properly, and the back door had a broken window. There was no glass in it, so it was like a security problem. But my mum wouldn't move. She wanted to stay in the house. Eventually, my dad's health deteriorated. Derek had a heart attack in 2013, and he got onto the housing and was moved to Durrell Gardens, where my mum lives by herself because my dad passed away in 2021. So we was having a chat about how that when these flats were first built, the drivers had trouble locating the area because these are new build flats. And he said he went to Who. His sat nav directed him to Who, and he went to Who, but it was really Rochester Riverside. So he remembered the flats when they were first being built down this road, and I've lived here 2.5 years now, and I remember the builders working right opposite my flats. I said, yeah, it was very noisy, and it was. Watching builders opposite drilling and working and building the flats opposite me. So guys, yes, I had a Tesco's delivery last night. It came about 9:25 to my flat, and I'm a woman, and I dealt with it by myself. McCain Quick Chips. We've got burgers. We have a Rustler's sausage muffin here. We have a Rustler's cheeseburger. Either today or tomorrow I'm going to do chicken, like a chicken, diced chicken with rice. So I've got 2 chicken breasts there. I've got some bacon. I've got some bacon as well. I've got some 4 pints of semi-skim milk. I've got Cornish pasties. I've got hot dogs. I like those. They're particularly my favourite. We've got some Pringles. We've got 6 sliced soft white rolls, Warburtons. I'm just showing you some of it. I don't think you need to see everything. We've got our Yazoo drinks, strawberry. Our Yazoo drinks, chocolate, with the Minions advertised on them, and the Minions have lovely white teeth, don't they? I have 2 cats, so I got 2 bags of cat litter because I have 2 cats. We have mineral water, Nestle Pure Life, mineral water there. I have toilet rolls. Always make sure I've got the necessities, you see. Always make sure you've got the necessities, toilet rolls. There we have essentials, 6 toilet rolls, Tesco Luxury Soft 4 toilet rolls. So in altogether I've got 20 toilet rolls. Remember, this lasts for 2 weeks. I've got shopping for 2 weeks, not 1 week, 2. I'll be glad when, I don't think that things are ever going to get back to normal from COVID. I just don't. We've got some Pop-Tarts for breakfast. Pop-Tarts, strawberry sensation. I particularly like those. It's a quick breakfast, isn't it? I've got coffee. I've got a lot of burgers and stuff, quick meals. I've got Scotch eggs, 2 pizzas. So I actually concentrated more on food because at one of the other times I concentrated on drinks. So I had a load of orange juice, I had a load of milkshake, and I had a load of water, but not much food. We get bananas as well. Bananas. So we've got everything. I've ordered the things, and I've got things to eat, I've got things to drink, I've got snacks. I'm fine for a couple of weeks. They didn't have prawn cocktail crisps, which was no problem, and they didn't have a lipstick because my lipstick's run out. So I need to get a lipstick, and the prawn cocktail crisps don't worry me. So the driver was very nice, very polite. He didn't rush me. He wasn't rude and nasty, and the lift was working so it all went smoothly. There was no trouble, right? Like I said, I don't want to compromise my safety, and I didn't tape it. There was no need. He was a very polite, nice guy, and the shopping went smoothly. And this is how I like it, and this is how I want it to stay. I don't want trouble, and I've got nothing against other people. I don't want to complain, and I don't want to moan. I mean, I went into the co-op the other day, and I've been told if you've got a bad experience in the co-op, go online and report it. But my experience from reporting things to the police and then nobody does anything anyway. I mean, what's the co-op going to get an overhaul if I complain about the co-op? Are they going to get new equipment or something? Well, the police don't do anything to help me either. I mean, I don't see the point of complaining. Not anymore. I used to think maybe, because you're taught that if you complain, it helps, like, give feedback and helps it not happen again. But I find when I complain, it happens more than when I didn't complain. So you learn not to complain, because it's not worth it. It gets worse. My dad used to complain at All Hallows, and then he complained about people kicking balls at the caravans, playing ball on a caravan site, and basically we started to get balls kicked at us. Kids would come along and kick balls at my father, kick footballs at him. After he complained to All Hallows about playing balls near the caravans, no word of a lie, we started to get footballs kicked at us. My dad tied himself in knots. He kept complaining and moaning, and it doesn't get you anywhere. It doesn't. Like I said, I complained once about the NatWest Bank. In the next month, they had a new carpet fitted in Chatham. They had a carpet fitted, and obviously they've closed my bank accounts down the NatWest Bank over COVID. I complained about them. So one occasion they get carpets fitted, and during COVID-19 they shut all my bank accounts down. The NatWest Bank did. So if you complain, you get punished. In my case you do, and in my father's case he did. If you complain, you get punished. They take away some of your privileges. And trying to get a new bank account during COVID with all the shops and the banks shut was so hard and difficult. And anyone with a mental illness or so-called schizophrenia, which my mum has and not me, do you think that person could have possibly found a bank account by themselves like I did? During COVID, when everything was shut down. So to be labelled with a mental illness like my mother was diagnosed with, not me, you're insulting me. You're actually insulting me. I'm actually very clever. And to be told by the job centre that I was only fit to be a cleaner, which was the jobs my mother had when I was a young girl growing up. My mum was a cleaner to a posh lady called Miss Yardley, and she was a cleaner in Boots in Chatham, a cleaner in the Hen and Chickens pub, right? Me and my mum are two totally different people. She has got told to leave jobs as well, my mum has, because she just interferes. She interferes and she's loud. And she yelled at me the other day. She shouted and comes across as rude. I held down a job for 5 years and they didn't want me to leave. And they kept me in the same job because they said, you're very good at your job. I haven't been fired. I wasn't fired from my job. I wasn't fired from my job. I stayed in it for 5 years, and I could have stayed in it longer, but I gave birth to my first son, who had a very fatal illness. And had I not taken him to the hospital right away, he would have died. So I left my job to look after my baby who was sick. I've never been fired from a job. And I've never been a cleaner. Because anyone that knows me knows I don't like cleaning. I don't like it. Because I was married to a guy that made me keep pencils in a straight line. He was fucking massively over tidy and over fanatical about cleanliness. And I had to keep pencils in a straight line and fucking shit like that. And I just don't like cleaning. So everything's disorganised. But I can find stuff in my mess, if you know what I mean. But because I was married to a man that made me fucking put things in order and yell at me if anything was out of place, I fucking don't like it. Everything's disorderly, it's a mess. But I can find my things in my mess. Do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, and going on to obviously, I don't want to keep talking about the police. They don't do their job. They're not doing anything to look after me. I'm getting police shoved in my face. I went out yesterday. Police on boats. Police cars driving past me. I'm not angry. I'm not a child. I'm 54. If you don't want to look after me, you don't want to help, just don't do it. Right? Don't do it. I'll look after myself. But don't tell me I'm fucking mentally ill. Because if I was mentally ill, I wouldn't be able to look after myself, would I? And I certainly wouldn't be able to cope with what's been going on over the past month without going crackers. We have a stalker, we have someone that's got an obsession, and I'm not saying it's my mother, although she rings me sometimes 6 times a day, trying to make out I'm a prostitute, whoever this is. I was called the Bike of Rochester, even though I haven't had a physical relationship in 6 years. The Bike of Rochester, ha ha ha. No one's been in this flat apart from family and people coming out to service the boiler or doing a survey of the flat. Nobody else. The person that's harassing me has got a perceived image that is mentally ill. Right, I'm the centre of attention. That's bollocks for a start. I can spend weeks without talking to someone, the centre of attention. That's rubbish. They've got this image of me that's totally wrong and screwed up in their head. The Bike of Rochester, I laugh my head off. Do you know they actually leave bikes outside? The Bike of Rochester, I haven't had a sexual relationship in 6 years. They're fucked in the head. They're wrong in the head. Just because a woman wears a pair of shorts, it doesn't mean they're strutting their stuff outside and picking up blokes. I'm wearing shorts because I'm hot. You go to the seaside, people wear bikinis. So have we got a bike in Sheerness, a bike in Margate, have we? Just because you wear clothes that show you're a woman, it doesn't mean you're a fucking prostitute and a tart. When I got called the Bike of Rochester, I laughed my head off. I said, you're having a laugh at you, you're having a joke. Have you got the right person? I'm 54, and I don't know what men would want a hairy old prostitute for anyway. There are far more younger women out there. I mean, it's ridiculous. I laughed my head off. I laughed my head off. I said, are you okay? I said, did you realise what you've just said? I'm in the Bike of Rochester. I haven't had a relationship in 6 years. I thought, yeah, the Bike of Rochester is having more fun than I am, mate. The Bike of Rochester. you wear a pair of shorts outside? There's male joggers out there. There was a woman the other day in the pouring rain in a vest and shorts. Blonde woman, she had a vest and a short pair of shorts on. But I'm the Bike of Rochester, me is. I said, people don't know me, they don't know my name. I said, I'm in a block of 15 flats and I've probably spoken to people once or twice in the 3 years that I've lived here. I goes, you've got a totally weird perception of me and I don't know where you've got it from. I'm not a recluse, and I'm not really a loner because I do like to speak to people, but I like to keep myself to myself. And I certainly don't sleep around. I mean, for goodness sake, since COVID, when we were all locked up from 2020, from 2019, 2020, and 2021, I mean, people didn't. They were afraid to sleep with people. They were afraid to hook up, and I think, to a certain extent, we still are being careful, and rightly so. But I sit in my flat most of the day with my lovely chihuahua, listening to my music, reading books. I certainly ain't strutting my stuff about. And I have to take Max for a walk. I'm not going to punish the dog because someone's frightening me. And all that crap stopped now. And it makes you wonder who was doing it. They've got do you know what I mean? I still don't know who was doing it. But now they're getting my mum to ring me 6 times a day. Because after the phone call I usually get depressed, upset and sick and don't want to go outside. So, Friday, I've got a doctor's appointment, right? I mean, there's nothing I can do about reckless drivers. There's nothing I could do about people smoking weed as I'm going along. I smelt weed in the Pentagon Centre when I went to get my prescription. There's no security, there's no police. You've got to look after yourself, but you try and do it in a non-violent manner. Not to get aggressive, not to shout at people that are on drugs and they've been drinking and they can get violent. You've got to keep yourself safe, right? It's like survival conditions. There's no police, no one's going to help me. So I've got to keep myself safe. I wear a mask as soon as I smell cannabis. I put a mask over my nose. Does nothing for me, it makes me feel ill. Right? And then men come up to you. Also, it can make you feel dizzy, disorientated. Ideal scenario for a pickpocket, a thief, or even like someone trying to get hold of a woman for a quick bit of sex. So you've got to keep yourself safe, right? I carry a panic alarm. Anyone that comes near me is that has got ulterior motives other than asking me the time is going to get a fucking alarm right in their ear or holes. Right? I go out to the doctors to do my shopping. No other reason. If someone wants to go out with me, they've obviously got my phone number. They've been harassing me for months. Ring me on the phone. Hello, Crystal. Would you like to come out for a coffee? You don't need to waft me with a load of weed and then either steal the purse out of my handbag, whatever, or whatever your motives are. Because every time I get a waft of weed up my nose, I feel silly. I start laughing and giggling. And it's an ideal scenario for a pickpocket and a thief, isn't it? Right. Have fun, guys, and I'll see you later.